Hello, this is Compass Mathematics. I am a pretty small math YouTuber, but nonetheless, I am a math YouTuber and I enjoy sharing mathematical enrichment to people who have very limited exposure to mathematical problem solving or to consistent math enthusiasts who regularly challenge themselves with hard math problems. Those are my target audiences. Now, the videos on my channel are basically math competition videos or videos covering a certain result in mathematics. Now, in this particular video, I said that I would be releasing a mathematical document to the public for the sake of enrichment. And here it is. This is the document. You can download it by going into the description down below and finding the link there. Now, if we open this up, basically, this is a collection of problems which I've proposed and solved on camera. At least for section 1, okay? So everything under section 1 you can find on my channel. It's just that I've put the problems into one convenient and compact format for you guys to access in one go. Now, the point of this document is not just to help me gain traction, it's also to encourage people to find math problems and solve them in a way that makes them feel good. Not just, oh, I had this, formula in the back of my mind and that's how I solved it. I want you to solve these problems in a way that makes you feel good. Like, oh, I had this intuition of mine and it worked out beautifully. Or, oh, this logical thinking of mine was the perfect way to think about this problem. That's the way I want you to solve these problems. I want you to feel good about them. Okay, so that's section 1. What about section 2? Well, this is a collection of problems which I've proposed but never used in any video. And there are reasons as to why I did not use them. However, I did not want the effort to go to waste, so I thought I might as well just leave them here for you guys to access. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to allow you to use these problems, these section 2 problems, on your own social media platforms. You can use them as like a problem of the week or present a solution to these problems on your own YouTube channel. And you do not have to credit me. I said credit would be appreciated, but it is not necessary. Okay, so that's basically the entirety of the document. Now, you might be wondering, what skill level is this for? Is there a skill level for which these problems will be too easy or too hard? Well, if you are someone with little or no experience in contest math, then many of these problems will be very, very hard. And that's because these problems are contest math orientated. Some of these problems might even be a little bit out of reach because of the technical knowledge required. However, if you find some problem interesting, then give it a try. Do not let anything I said discourage you. In fact, many people begin their math contest journeys by finding some problem that's interesting to them, and then they're like, why can I not solve it? And then they become even more interested in it. So if you find some problem interesting, then give it a try. Now, if you are someone with considerable experience, but still relatively a beginner level in competition math, then many of these problems will still be pretty challenging. However, it will be more manageable. Now, if you were to go to the solutions document, yes, I've prepared a solutions document, but if you were to go to here and look at the solutions, you might find me quoting some theorem that you might not be familiar with. And you might go like, well, I didn't know that theorem, so how am I supposed to even do this problem? Well, you can Google up the theorem, or better yet, even try to prove the theorem. Now, I know it's pretty frustrating when you cannot solve a problem because you don't know a certain theorem or result, but that's the thing with math. Sometimes you're just going to have to know the facts. Even then, if you did know the facts, you would still have to apply them in a pretty creative manner. I used to think if I just knew that certain theorem, then I would be able to solve the entire problem. But that's actually not the case for many, many problems. Now, what if you are an intermediate level problem solver? I would say at least an Amy qualifier. Well, in that case, many of these problems will be much, much more manageable. In fact, I think some of these might be insta-solves if you know the technique. Like this question 2 as an example. I think the technique of it has been taught so many times to Amy qualifiers that this probably should not take you more than a minute if you know the technique, like seriously. However, I think there will still be problems here which are pretty hard. Like, I encourage you to try them, as I think they will challenge you. So I think overall, the problems over here for an intermediate level problem solver, it's going to be like a mix of pretty easy and very hard problems. In fact, many of these problems are kind of Amy leveled. Okay, now, What if you are someone who's regularly qualifying for your home country's math Olympiad? Well, I think these problems might be a little bit too easy for you. I still think some might slow you down, but I'm confident that you're able to find like an insight in a good 10 or 20 minutes. So if you want to practice getting faster, then go ahead, I guess. But other than that, if you just want to build skills, I would say that, to be honest, some of these might be a little bit too easy. In fact, most of these might be a little bit too easy. Okay, what if you are someone who's regularly getting honorable awards in math Olympiads, or even qualifying for the International Math Olympiad, the IMO? Okay, well, in that case, you probably should be consulting some other Olympiad resources other than this one. This is not really Olympiad orientated, more like just, competition math orientated. It doesn't go as high as to like advanced Olympiad levels. So that's my honest review of this document that I've created. Of course, that doesn't mean that I won't be covering pretty hard stuff on my channel. It's just that this document in particular might not be very suitable for people who are literally qualifying for the International Math Olympiad. So yeah, that's my take on it. Now, as I've said just moments before, I've also prepared a solutions document for those problems. Now, note that I've only prepared solutions for problems in Section 1. The problems in Section 2 have not yet been given solutions from me, and that's because if I'm going to allow you to use them on your own social media platforms, then I should not be interfering with a solution of my own. Now, note that for the solutions document, they are relatively more terse than the actual video solution, and that's because I don't actually cover the certain theorem in detail you would need to know in order to solve a particular problem. If I were recording a video, I would briefly explain what a theorem states and stuff. Now, notice that, again, we're able to write these coefficients in terms of R1, R2, and R3. We've actually just derived something called Vietta's formula. We've actually just derived Vietta's formula. Now, of course, if you were familiar with Vietta's formula, you could have just come up with this instantly. However, on a text document, I wouldn't repeatedly explain what something like AMGM is. In fact, I literally wrote that as an example. In the introduction, I said it would not be practical for me to repetitively say what AMGM is in text form. So yeah, if you get confused, you can Google it up, or you can watch the video solution. That's basically it for my documents. A reminder that you can download them in the description down below. If you are a student, then feel free to use these problems as tools to help sharpen your mathematical problem-solving skills. If you are a teacher or educator, then feel free to use this resource as mathematical enrichment for your classes. I would be more than honored if you were to do that.